Lucy worked at a station at the Chicago Transit Authority. She was a lonely woman whose life was passing her by as she met the same passenger named Peter Callahan every day. He was a handsome man who always wore a stylish suit and looked like his life was full of adventure. Lucy didn't know him personally, but watched him from afar, dreaming of one day talking to him. Christmas Day was a cold and windy day. Lucy was standing on the platform, as usual, when she noticed a group of muggers trying to snatch a bag from Peter. In the process, they pushed him onto the tracks right in front of an approaching train. Without hesitation, Lucy rushed to save him, risking her own life. She managed to lift him off the tracks before the train passed by. However, Peter was seriously injured and lost consciousness. Lucy accompanied him to the hospital where doctors informed her that he was in a coma and it was unknown when or even if he would wake up. Sitting next to his bed, she reflected on her life and her feelings for him. At one point she said out loud, "I was going to marry him." These words were heard by a nurse who misinterpreted them and informed Peter's family that he had a fiancée. When Peter's family arrived at the hospital, Lucy found herself in a quandary. She couldn't just tell them the truth because it would cause them further pain. She decided to continue the lie, hoping that things would eventually fall into place. Peter's family accepted her warmly, especially his brother Jack, who immediately felt that there was some kind of connection between them. Jack was a somewhat cynical man who worked as a construction worker. He was attractive, but his outlook on life was different from Lucy's. They started spending time together and Lucy found that she enjoyed being around him. Jack was caring and considerate, although he sometimes seemed too practical and pragmatic. Lucy soon became part of the Callahan family. She spent a lot of time with Peter's parents, who were kind and loving people. They accepted her as their own daughter and were delighted that their son had found such a beautiful girl. However, Lucy felt increasingly guilty as she knew that sooner or later she would have to tell them the truth. One evening, as Lucy and Jack sat by the fireplace, they began to talk about life and their dreams. Lucy told him about her job at the railroad station and how she had always dreamed of finding true love. Jack listened to her attentively, and a feeling of mutual understanding developed between them. He began to see Lucy not only as his brother's fiancée, but as someone who could be an important part of his life. Meanwhile, Peter's condition remained unchanged. Days passed and he still did not regain consciousness. Lucy began to think that she might never meet him face to face. She felt increasingly lonely, even though she was surrounded by the Callahan family. Her relationship with Jack was becoming more and more confusing, and she didn't know how to deal with this internal conflict. One night, Lucy woke up from a nightmare in which she saw Peter opening his eyes and accusing her of lying. She woke up in a cold sweat and couldn't go back to sleep for a long time. At that moment, she realized she had to tell the Callahan family the truth. But fear of the possible consequences kept her from taking that step. Every day Lucy grew more and more attached to Jack. They began to spend more and more time together, and romantic moments arose between them. One day they went to the skating rink, and Lucy felt really happy for the first time. Jack taught her how to skate, and they laughed, forgetting all their problems. At that moment, Lucy realized that her feelings for Jack went much deeper than she had thought. Her conscience, however, kept her on her toes. She knew she had to tell her family the truth, but she was afraid of losing everything she had gained. Her relationship with Jack became even more complicated when she realized that she might fall in love with him. This created even more tension and Lucy felt increasingly unhappy. One day when Lucy was in the hospital, she heard Peter's voice. He started talking in his sleep and Lucy was startled to hear her name. It made her think that there really could have been some sort of connection between them. She began to ponder that if Peter did wake up, she might get to know him better and maybe even love him, but her musings were interrupted by the sudden appearance of Jack. He came to the hospital to check on her, and they began talking about their feelings again. Jack admitted that he had strong feelings for her, too, and that made Lucy think about her own feelings. She realized that her life had become much more complicated than she had ever imagined. The Callahan family began preparing to celebrate Christmas, and Lucy found herself in the center of their plans. She helped decorate the house and cook dinner, and it made her feel part of the family. But her conscience still lingered, and she knew she had to tell the truth. One night when the whole family gathered for dinner, Lucy decided it was the right time to confess. She pulled herself together and began to talk about what had happened that day at the station and why she was in the hospital. The family listened attentively, and when she had finished there was silence. Peter's mother was the first to speak. She said that she understood why Lucy had decided to hide the truth, and that they appreciated her help and care. Peter's father added that they already considered her part of the family, and that wouldn't change no matter what happened next. Jack expressed his support, too, and said that he would be there for her no matter what the circumstances were. Those words gave Lucy strength, and she felt that she could handle any situation. She realized that her relationship with Jack had become real and that she wanted to spend the rest of her life with him. In that moment, she realized that her love for Jack was much stronger than her earlier dreams for Peter. A few days later, Peter woke up. When he opened his eyes and saw Lucy, he was surprised and confused. Lucy explained to him what had happened, and he realized that she had been by his side the whole time. Peter thanked her for caring and said that she had done a lot for his family. After that incident, Lucy and Jack became even closer. They started planning their future together and realized that they wanted to spend the rest of their lives with each other. They decided to get married, and the Callahan family was overjoyed with the decision. They all gathered at the wedding and it became a real celebration for everyone. Lucy and Jack's wedding was attended by all their friends and relatives. Lucy was happy that she was able to find true love and found a new family. She realized that her life had changed because she had taken a risk and believed in her feelings. The wedding took place in a warm and friendly atmosphere. Lucy and Jack exchanged vows and everyone present was touched by their words. After the ceremony, they went on their honeymoon where they enjoyed each other's company and dreamed of the future. Lucy and Jack returned home where a new phase of life awaited them. They started building their house and planning their future. Lucy found a new job that was fulfilling, and they began traveling together, discovering new places and cultures. Over time, their relationship grew even stronger, and they realized they could overcome any challenge. Lucy and Jack learned to trust each other and share their thoughts and experiences. They realized that true love requires effort and patience, but the result is worth it. Several years passed and Lucy and Jack became parents. They had a baby and it made their lives even more fulfilling. They enjoyed every minute spent with the baby and realized that their love was even stronger because of it. Lucy and Jack continued to live in harmony and happiness.